Hey fellow gamers, this is Sam, and in the month of January, our channel is going to be covering the newly released or to be released Hitman 3 that's coming out on January 20th. Today's video is pretty much going to be a preview of you should buy or don't buy this game. I'll be using official footage and depth insight to help you make that decision. So if you're a fan of the stealth genre of kind of games, you gotta pick this up because this was made for you. But what if you're kind of like me, you don't really know what's going on, you heard about the Hitman series, but you're kind of afraid, is it going to be all stealth? Well, surprisingly, this game is actually meant to be very non-linear and kind of open world.
We are taking the beautiful locations, the level design, these awesome environments that we have, and inviting them to explore, to be creative and do things that they haven't done before in a Hitman game. And we're twisting the formula along the way.
Now granted, we should take anything a dev says before a game is released with a grain of salt, cyberpunk, but to prepare myself for this video, for you guys, this preview, I actually did dive into Hitman 2 for quite a bit of hours, and I was very surprised to find out that the missions are really open-ended and the kills can be very non-linear and you can be very creative. So if they further develop that formula in Hitman 3, this game is actually going to be a lot more free and just not rigid at all. Now, this game is only going to be as good as if the AI can be, realistic. So let's see what they say about the AI.
We're definitely pushing the systems to what they can handle AI-wise and what the game can handle. We're trying constantly to find new ways to make a level exciting. And I don't think it can be pushed any more than what we're doing in Hitman 3.
Now, this improvement on AI deal, I'm quite skeptical about because I have played Hitman 2 myself and the AI is very... I wouldn't want to say bad, but they're very basic. Now, it actually adds to the game though, because the way that the AI is consistently basic, it allows the user to create a lot of hilarious moments and enjoyable moments within the missions themselves. So I think the weak AI is going to be fine. I hope it improves, but I'm not expecting a lot here because that's just the way these games are. But I do feel if they could deliver on the end about making the world more open-ended, especially the missions, I think this game is actually going to be okay.
I think the fact that it's a sandbox allows you to do some pretty crazy things that would seem weird if we put them in the main story. So the task of the main story is definitely to keep everything on the straight and narrow, if you will, and make sure that, okay, so we're establishing this dark spy thriller, so we need to make sure that that sort of comes through the whole experience.
One thing that really surprised me during my research is that the company, IOI, they're actually completely independent.
We are now independent, and Hitman 3 is a game that we completely publish ourselves. And, that's pretty exciting to do that as a first.
Now, I'm not a fanboy of the entire Hitman trilogy or the series, but hearing that IOI did go independent on this kind of makes me want to support the game. In Hitman 2, they were working with Warner Brothers, so same company that was working with Cyberpunk. But IOI is completely independent on this, and I feel like I do want to support this game just because of this. So if it does well, maybe they will continue to grow the game, and then maybe they will take it out of the box that the Hitman series kind of in, maybe expand it to something that's really fun. Hitman does have they've been around for 20 years, surprisingly. For those of you who actually want to just, if you look back, Hitman's been around for 20 years. They've been around for that long. And now that they're independent, I want to support them, help them grow, so then maybe they will actually make a different kind of style of games within the Hitman kind of world. Like for a lot of us who love Assassin's Creed, like I know some of you guys love Assassin's Creed, obviously I love Assassin's Creed, but way back when Assassin's Creed first came out, it wasn't like what we see now with Valhalla or what we see with Odyssey. It all kind of happened with just a couple of years ago, really less than 5 or 6 years ago, when Assassin's Creed or when Ubisoft took that huge turn with the series and made it like really open world but still kept the stealth gameplay. Hitman is kind of in the modern world in that boat because all of the stealth gameplay came from like a modern setting. I do hope that if this game does well for them, maybe IOI takes that leap and take the Hitman series into a really open world with stealth element, but in a modern setting. So kind of like Assassin's Creed but modernized. I would love to support something like that. So just that alone, they're independent and they're trying. I've actually became a fan.
So many people worked on this franchise for so long time that this has to be right. So as I see it and what I've seen so far, I don't think it's not only going to be the best game of the trilogy, I think it's going to be the best Hitman game.
So in the end, the big money question is, should you buy or don't buy this game? Now, I'm gonna buy it because of all the reasons I laid out there. And here's just some gameplay of Hitman 2 if you're completely unaware of, how this series goes. And you can just see from this mission, this is a pretty cool way to eliminate a target from Hitman 2, so you can just take a look at it here. Going forward, I will post some of my own Hitman 2 gameplay just for you guys to see what this is about and how I would approach making video for this game while I'm covering it. I would say I'm gonna buy it. If you love the stealth genre, obviously buy it. Support the genre you love. Otherwise, people just not gonna make the games that you like anymore, right? Because looking back in the day, at least when I was younger, there's a lot of stealth games around with Metal Gear Solid, Splinter Cell. Those are kind of coming out consistently, or even Assassin's Creed with the older formula. But this genre is kind of, I wouldn't say it's dying, but it's evolving. But it is becoming less stealth, because I have met a couple of pretty hardcore stealth dudes. I've chatted with them about how they play Cyberpunk and how they approach Assassin's Creed. How they approach Valhalla in a stealth manner, and I respect it. Stealth style gaming dudes are really dedicated to their craft. Like, they go crazy stealth. Like, I've seen even Tsushima, that I've met a couple of other people too. That's all about stealth. If you're about stealth, support what you love and support the people that are trying to make things that you love to play. So buy this game if you love stealth. Now, if you're like me, where you kind of you like to play games loudly and you want to eliminate everything, this game actually still kind of helps. Like, I played a bit of Hitman 2 thinking it's gonna look at that right there. That's nothing quiet about that kill. I mean, it's a stealth genre game, but that's loud. I appreciate the creativity that this game does offer. For those of you who don't know, like, you don't have to buy Hitman 2. Like, I'll play it for you so you'd see. But you can be really creative about how you eliminate people. So there you have it. You can watch me play and then decide for your own if you're kind of on the fence. I think the game is going to be good because, like I showed you earlier, they went independent. And when you go independent in anything, really, that has money involved and business involved, you're going to put all your effort into it, because if it doesn't work, then that's it. Because if you can't even provide something that makes a profit independently, who's going to invest in you? But when you make something independent, you have the complete freedom of how you want to approach it. So it's going to be very true to, what you want to see. So if you can make a good game while you're being true to yourself, then I worry, right, as a consumer. But if this game does go well and they did it independently, I'm going to be very excited on maybe they'll get a bigger budget, maybe they'll get bigger investment from, bigger companies. And the companies are going to trust IOI to be able to, make the game in the way they see fit. So I'm hoping this works. I'm really hoping this works. So it will satisfy, those people I know that love to play stealth, respect to those guys. And also maybe it will satisfy gamers kind of like me and us. If you're kind of like me where you're on the fence, but you kind of want to be stealth and loud. So check it out when I release the game, and I'll speak to you guys again very soon.